Bruchim Aboyim, welcome everybody. It is Wednesday, so once again we will be learning the Noam Elimelech from the Heilig Rebbe Melech from Lezhensk. Schusig and Lein of all Kol Yisrael, Amen. Parshas Vayeitzei is a special parsha to me because when I first started to learn in yeshiva, which was in 10th grade, they put me in the 9th grade class, but quickly I got to the 11th grade class. I remember Rabbi Dax at Ezra Academy, he should be well, and he taught us Parshas Vayeitzei as our study for the whole year. So let's learn Parshas Vayeitzei from the Heilig Rebbe Melech from Lezhensk. Vayeitzei Yaakov me Beersheva, and Jacob left Beersheba. Nearly, it seems to me, Bahaktim lefarish pasuk v'yachloish Yehoshua es Amalek v'es Amoy lefi Chorev. So the Heilig Rebbe Melech he says that before we explain this verse, let's first explain what it says in the book of Exodus, in Parshas Beshalach. It says that Joshua weakened Amalek and his people by the mouth of the sword. Shesibas hashlita shel Esau al am hakadosh hu hakol b'choyach hamitzvah kibud of mitzvahs kibud of she'asa. The reason why Esau has any power over God's people is because of the energy that was generated by his fulfillment of the commandment of honoring his father. How did Esau honor his father? With his sword. Because he would catch animals and slaughter them to feed into the mouth of his father Isaac. And that's the deeper meaning of what it says, that when Isaac blesses Esau, he says, "Thou shalt live by thy sword." What does it mean? Not only that he'll be a soldier, a warrior, but also, or a hunter for himself, but by virtue of the fact that he honored his father with that sword, he has life. Perish b'shvil mitzvos she'asisa b'charbcha, that because of the mitzvahs that you did with your sword, al yedei kach yelecha chiyus katsas, through that you'll have a little bit of life for us. Lezeh le'kosav v'charbcha techia kim al, because it doesn't say with your sword thou shalt live, but upon or because of thy sword shalt thou live. Perish kamoy b'shvil, meaning because of the sword. Yisrael, but the Israelites, when they want to weaken the power of Esau, they don't need the energy of all of the commandments that they're always constantly observing and fulfilling. Even with his own fulfillment of his commandment, he has no power over them. Because the Israelites showed more fatherly honor than Esau. Because the Holy Torah teaches us that Jacob honored Isaac, his father, more than Esau did. And this is cited in the Midrash, in the homilies. Esau did not find a deer or any other kosher animal to bring to feed to his father on that day when he was seeking his father's blessing, and Jacob took the blessing. And Jacob brought him the goat, right? And so the sages say that Esau found a dog, and and he wanted to feed dog meat to his own father, which is not a kosher animal, of course. Nimsa minei ube aba lizel be narga. So, if any of you ever listened to Matisyahu, right? He has a song that says, "The handle from the axe comes from the forest itself. Chop 'em down, chop 'em down, chop 'em down, chop 'em down." So it says that exactly what it says in the song. It says, our sages say that the handle from the axe comes from the forest itself. And so therefore from Esau himself comes his own downfall. And there's another example of that, is that in the next week's Haftarah is the Haftarah of Ovadia, of the prophet Obadiah. And Obadiah was a convert, an Edomite convert, and his brief prophecy of only 21 verses contains the downfall of Edom. And so again, that same idea. Moreover, the King David, he attacked the Moabites, and his great-grandmother was a Moabite princess. Who knows who there might be from among the people in Gaza who might convert and become the reason, or really a lot of them actually are of Jewish ancestry. People don't know that a lot of the people who call themselves Palestinians, many of them are just Egyptians or Jordanians who moved to the Holy Land to work for when the Zionists started to come. They wanted people to come work for them, and so since there were jobs, they moved from Egypt and Jordan to that place. But there were also, under the Ottoman rule, a lot of Jewish people who were forced to convert to Islam. And so these are the children of Jews, or a lot of these people who call themselves the Palestinians. And if there's any actual Palestinians, not just Jordanians and Egyptians who were living there. Arafat was Egyptian, he wasn't Palestinian. It's probably those people who are themselves Jewish, or the children of Jews. Maybe they'll come back home to the Torah and be Jews once again. But in any event, we'll see what happens. That's what it means. And Joshua weakened Amalek by the mouth of the sword. What does it mean? That he took that very level and the power of the sword. Asher himsi atzmai lilchom im Yisrael. That not only would we say that idea of the convert coming from an enemy nation leading to their downfall, but then we also have the idea of using their energy against them. That's how we will conquer them. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of people might be aware of the Zohar. It says something very interesting, that because the Ishmaelites perform one mitzvah beyond the Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach that all Gentiles are required to keep, but being children of Abraham, they follow the mitzvah of circumcision, of bris milah, but it's an incomplete circumcision. But as a reward for that, they have a temporary control over the Holy Land. And so this current war could not be fought with guns and bombs and missiles and rockets. It has to be fought spiritually. And if their mitzvah, and the other point is that they only have a portion in the earthly land of Israel. But what about the heavenly land of Israel? That is only for people who are totally dedicated to Torah. Again, it doesn't matter where you come from. If you convert, if you're dedicated to Torah, you will have a portion in the heavenly land of Israel as well. And the thing is, I also would say to people who are identifying as B'nai Noach, it would be in the best interest to fully convert. I know a lot of people don't say that, but that is the truth if you're able to do it. If you're not able to keep Shabbos and kosher, it's too hard. For years I would think to myself, I'd listen to Glenn Beck. I'm a big fan of Glenn Beck. And I know that he was shopping around for religion, him and his wife together. And he wound up in the LDS church. And I said, too bad he didn't consider Judaism. Albeit I found out that he did consider Judaism. He really enjoyed the synagogue, he enjoyed the rabbi, he enjoyed the sermons in the synagogue, but he couldn't give up the food. And so if you can't give up the food, obviously you can't convert. But if you can do that, it's a much better, higher thing, but whatever it is, it is. So, but if the koach of that, the reason why some of the Bnei Ishmael some of the Ishmaelites have some connection, an earthly connection to the Holy Land, is because of the mitzvah of bris milah. Even though it's an incomplete mitzvah, there's several things we have to do. First and foremost, if you care about Judaism and the Jewish people, if you're Jewish and you don't circumcise your sons, get your sons circumcised right away. It's a mitzvah. It's as long as it's healthy to do so. It doesn't have to be done for a health reason. It's done for a mitzvah reason. But if you haven't circumcised your children, if you have sons, do so. If you're a Jewish woman, you're having babies, having baby boys, you have to give your sons a bris milah. In many ways, I would venture to say that that could be saving lives in the Holy Land. But then there's something deeper which is much more difficult. But that is being careful with all aspects of the bris, which is obviously much more difficult, but at least to try, especially at this very precarious time when there's war. That's part of the way we can be spiritual warriors, and certainly in that same midah that we have to engage in honoring our parents, but also shmiras habris. So that's how Joshua weakened Amalek. V'zeu gam kein perish Vayeitzei Yankov b'Beersheva. This is also the explanation of what it says in Jacob left Beersheba. It's known that Beersheba is a hint to very high levels, spiritual levels. Asher Hayu Yaakov Avinu, that Jacob, our patriarch, had Shetikin Kol Sheva Midos, that he rectified all of the 7 of the lower sephiros of the character attributes, Kodesh, as the Kabbalistic literature explains. Lizeh, and according to this, Hitzrich, Siatsev, Neged Esav Elavan, when he needed to stand up against Esau and Laban. Loi Hilchim Negdem B'chol Madregos of Agadolos. He did not stand up against them with all of their very lofty and high spiritual levels. Rather, they left this level that's called Beersheba, V'yelech Harana, and he went to Haran, to Haran, meaning he left his lofty levels and just went with their own levels, but did their thing better than them, which certainly the Klal Yisrael is doing shmiras habris. Whatever we're doing, even if we're not doing it perfectly, we're certainly doing a better job than the Ishmaelites. Vizelvi, and people are hopping onto that. There's a Sedua Maisa from the Baal Shema Kodesh. As the Gevein Einur Galach was this Gevein Shomer Abris. And Baal Shema Kodesh geredet mit dem und gefragt, nicht getracht von Chasna haben. Und hat gehad, der Galach gehad a Pagam, und der Koich von jener Pagam ist weggenommen the Getrigim gegen die jüdische Kinder. Kann ich sogar auf Englisch ist Hamas, aber also du sei was versteht, was das meint. Leider so du jüdische Kinder wir sind gehabt, eine Baruch Hashem ist gehabt, ein Efscher geiten Tfisa oder was, einer leider jüdische Kind was Chabad nachgelaufen haben und gelegt vielen auf jeden sei gif nicht der Gifnuki. Aber also that's what it means. He went to Haran, and he went and he was successful against them. So too we should be successful in all the levels against whatever enemies stand up against the Yiddische Kinder. We should be Zeiche sein. We should have peace in the world, and we should be able to all of that whatever enemies we have should become our friends. But if they don't, we hate the sin, but we want to love the sinner. But if it is something that's not possible to love, we hope that the evil will be destroyed from the world, and that there will be world peace for Kalahavan. But we are peaceful people. We do want peace in the world. We don't want wars. We don't want fighting. We just want goodness and kindness to pursue us all the days of our life. So we live in the house of the Lord forever. Be Zeiche to Skalas Kvod Shemaim B'Meir Remain Omein. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and God willing, we'll see you all later. All right, how do I turn this thing off? This one here? Why isn't it working? This one. There we go.